Hi, everyone. Let's talk about the difference between impeachment in trial and rebuttal in family law context. So, impeachment is defined in California Evidence Code 780, and generally it creates a counter for attacking someone's credibility or prior inconsistent statement or bias. Let's dive into some examples. Bias. Let's say we have a domestic violence restraining order case and one spouse claims that the other spouse was abusive and calls mother to testify who allegedly witnessed the abuse. And then the mother testifies about it, and opposing counsel is attacking character or bias of that witness by saying, well, mother in itself, could be biased by nature, friend, that a mother has personal grudge against the other spouse, and then show some examples from the past or text messages. So personal motive to attack the other spouse and create or make a testimony, create a testimony that is untrue. So it goes into bias and attacks credibility. Or that parent or friend receives money, let's say on a monthly basis, and dependent on the support of that spouse who that mother and friend is testifying about allegedly witnessing the event. So they are inherently biased. So these type of examples would attack their credibility based on bias. Second example for prior inconsistent statement. For example, one parent claims, I am the prime caregiver for our child and therefore I would like to stay that way. The other parent is not doing drop-offs and not doing all medical appointments. And then opposing side would introduce evidence, emails, let's say from a year ago, where that parent who claims that a parent is unavailable is now saying, well, I'm actually unavailable for this appointment, that appointment, can you take our son to medical appointment? So it would directly attack their inconsistent prior statement. And of course, the last one is character of dishonesty. If one parent says the other parent is abusive and here's an incident, then opposing counsel could introduce evidence, let's say that that parent who is accusing has been involved in fraud and actually was convicted. So that prior conviction could attack their credibility as character of dishonesty. And then we have rebuttal. Rebuttal is not so much about credibility of a witness. It's more about credibility of actual content, of substance of the evidence. So, for example, if someone says, I have no way to pay child support and spousal support because I have no income, but they bragged online, opposing side will bring that evidence, they bragged online that they just got a new job on Instagram, that will go to rebut the fact that they have no income. Or it could be a bank statement showing large deposits during the time where this parent or spouse says, I have no income. For parenting time example would be for rebuttal when one parent says, I think the other parent is unfit because they missed parenting time and here's the calendar of all missed visits. And then the other spouse and the other parent's lawyer would introduce evidence of their text messages to that parent a year ago or half a year ago during the time when these missed visits allegedly happened, asking for makeup time because of denied visits. So the parent who says the other parent is unfit because of missed visits actually denied the visit. And so that text message asking for makeup time would rebut that alleged situation where the parent thinks that the parent isn't fit. So it kind of goes into credibility as well, but it's more about the actual evidence, not so much character or bias, more about the content. And another example would be in property division, if one spouse says, this home or this business is my separate property business because I purchased it before marriage with my own money, then the counter would be for the other spouse to show bank statements from before the marriage showing the down payment towards the home, or from joint account money coming towards the business to pay for the bills to maintain the business. So that would rebut the testimony that the business is separate property.
I created this book to help you understand the divorce process without getting lost or without getting a heart attack. You can buy it on Amazon in all formats, including audio format.
So just to summarize, impeachment is designed to attack credibility, and rebuttal is designed to attack the substance of the evidence. And all of that can be presented in trial through exhibits. So, for example, if I hear this testimony on direct examination, then on the cross, I'll take my client is already searching for, if we don't have the time break for a couple of weeks, to print 4 copies for each. And I get the text message, then I pull it up and I impeach right there on the stand and email the clerk the copy. But usually if I have a break, then of course we gather all the evidence to impeach or rebut the other witness with proof, with impeachment witnesses. What about impeachment expert witness? That's another angle. Impeachment expert witness could be, let's say, if the other side has either vocational evaluator who says, well, my client cannot make more than $20 an hour, although they have master's degree and all kinds of degrees, and or another witness, let's say financial advisor, financial forensic accountant, who says, well, the community property is X, and this is why, and this is my report. And if I get on the case too late, which means I don't have the time to hire my own expert witness on time, which means at least more than a couple months, because I have to give them, the other side, a notice. I believe it's 70 days before trial, based on witness demand exchange, and then we exchange the expert witnesses, the CVs. And so if I don't have all of that time to do these type of exchanges, then I hire, let's say, impeachment witness to say, well, actually, that impeachment witness cannot produce report, cannot have an opinion about what it should be instead, the salary for that person or the community property of that particular situation in that particular case. But what impeachment witness can do, attack credibility of each of the expert. For example, a vocational evaluator could attack the credibility of the other vocational evaluator and say, well, actually, this report has different loopholes. This person who is not able to make more than $20 per hour, although they have master's degree, they haven't done diligent search for work. I reviewed all the work logs and they only applied on Indeed instead of doing networking. And the conclusion of $20 per hour is unsubstantiated because of the market availability, employment availability. And I see that this particular person is not willing to find the job that is more than $20 per hour for many, many reasons. And so the impeachment expert can poke holes in the original expert witness testimony based on reviewing of their transcript from the trial or the report. And the same goes for the other impeachment witness. Forensic accountant can look at the report and say, actually, they didn't do the math correctly. Because if I look under in underlying calculations and their testimony, they forgot to trace this particular record where there was an actual transfer for the down payment before the date of marriage. So this could be also, it's tricky. I would not recommend to have an impeachment expert, because I would rather have an expert who will produce a report, who will do due diligence to go through all the statements. So it's a backup plan. But in cases that fall short, an attorney dies, or the client isn't happy and fires an attorney at the last minute, that's what we got. So we got impeachment experts, we got impeachment witnesses. And then the other side can also be impeachment witness. Let's say one spouse introduces evidence of abuse, then the other spouse defends against abuse, testifies, and then the first spouse goes back to impeach the second spouse with, let's say, new evidence of abuse. So let's say, just giving an example, one spouse says, I have been raped. The other spouse says, no, it's impossible because on that day I was somewhere else. And then the spouse goes, well, no, not only did he rape me, but he also hit me. So now we can have the second spouse again be impeaching the new allegation of abuse. Parties can testify on direct, cross, and they can be put as an impeachment witness as well. I hope this was helpful. Click like, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!